You're being
Welcome,
live streamed.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Setting up your meeting. We are back and we are live. Turn this off. We're gonna do that pop out chat. Get you guys over here. Got it. Got it. Heck yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight, Wednesday, September the 1st. Time is flying by. This year is flying by. Cody, you got your ears on? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Michael, Tom, what's up, everybody? All 19 of you guys, make sure to stop through and hit that like and show us some love over here. We are going to be talking about some things going on. I want to give a shout out to our monthly members. Thanks so much. Make sure to check out that join button, get some good stuff we have going on here at the channel. David, thank you. What's going on? Good evening. Good evening. Make sure to check us out on the podcast apps. People have been asking if we are still uploading those. We are. Reeling with Ryan is actually in charge of that, so he is got that rolling and reeling. One of the questions that I have gotten repeatedly asked about, and we're going to talk about it again. I know we've touched a lot of on oil and stuff with DS, but it is additives. I've gotten a good bunch of emails. PTT, what are you using? What do you recommend for my truck? And and this is kind of it right here. I've had this up here before. We're gonna go over that. These 22s. Finally, these 22s. My coworker, if he's listening, chime in, bud. We are anxiously waiting for him. He has gotten a 22 King Ranch, a King Ranch sissy, and is in antimatter blue. Very excited for him. So we're going to be definitely checking that out on the channel when that comes in. I'm hoping we check a lot every day, multiple times a day. We're hopefully going to try to get it maybe coming off the truck, as firsthand as we can. Unfortunately, you guys have to wait for the salesman to call you and let you know when your truck's here. But being at the dealer, we kind of got a behind the scenes, so it's been kind of cool seeing the progress, and even that you're ordering a truck and seeing all the steps. You get the email. It's like your VIN has been created. And then because I didn't get to order mine, so I see other people post on Facebook and stuff. But to see his stuff, it's been pretty cool to witness that. So I definitely will be ordering my next truck for sure. I think to document that whole process would be kind of neat. Starting it here on the computer, picking everything, and now here's that, and here it is in reality. So that would be kind of cool. HSM. My head's in the way. HSM. We have another fuel system component from them we're going to talk about as well. That's going to be coming on the channel. I have an unboxing coming. Going to be exciting to show you guys that. And yeah, whatever else you guys want to talk about. Let's see what we got here. Yo, Jeeper, fellas, what's up? Good to see you, Project Amateur, what's up? Horse named Dollar checking in from WV.
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Hey! A-Rod, you work on some of our bucket trucks. Would be badass to meet you someday. Got a 22 on order. Oh, bucket trucks. I work on a lot of bucket trucks. Let's see. What bucket trucks, what aerial contraptions are you speaking of? We'll reach out to him, see what's up. I have due for delivery in October. 350 King Ranch Ultimate 6.7 anti. Oh man, you guys are killing me. Yeah, definitely. The 22s. If you guys are following another content creator, King Rancher 13, Bliss. We've had him on the podcast, if you guys remember. He just took delivery of his King Ranch 22, got the Star White, Tremor, and I mean, I don't know the Super Duty. Like I said, I have a Chevy Tahoe in the garage, and after driving the Super Duty and then driving this, there's these. I love my Ford trucks. Why I like this because I've done some stuff to the engine, but why you would not want to be in anything else but a Ford is besides me these Super Duties, and even working on them and comparing them, from when I first started doing warranty work back, in the 7.3 days. Those dashes and how they rode and the seats and the just the truck experience. And then they got a little faster with the 6 liter, and then the front end kind of changed with the 6.4. So it's cool to see that change. I have an 83 F-150, so that used to be our Super Duty, the F-150, 250, 350, and the amount of room, compared to what we have now, it's like when you see the engine, I got an inline six, it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? But it's been pretty cool to see all that change over the years, and how much the creature comforts that they've added. Pretty cool to check out.
Yeah, there we
22
go.
450 is the lower fuel filter upgrade with the cat filter worth the money for my 17, or is it just a regular maintenance with OEM filter sufficient? Oh, DT. Okay. All right. DT buckets. We do a lot of them. Come through, bud. The lower fuel filter is definitely an upgrade. It's you get totally away from the cartridge filter, and all you have is a spin-on cat filter, which you can actually cross-reference. Cody had some info on that. We were going back and forth with this stuff last week, and it can accept now a Baldwin filter. So it cross references to that. The upper filter kit that you saw us talk about, we got the video coming for that. That takes a Baldwin filter right from HSM. But keeping with the Baldwin, they actually offer the lower one. So I mean, if you can run the cat one, I mean, I don't know if you can get them in the same place that you're getting your Baldwin one, but if you need to, get two Baldwin filters, by all means, you can, definitely rock them. Actually, where I can get the Baldwin filters, they also carry the Parker filter. If you can't get one from your S&S dealer or what have you, that other filter that was for the disaster prevention kit video you saw us install. So Skidoo, waiting on my Lariat agate black fifth wheel prep quad main Ellie's, and many, many more options. Did you get the sunroof? Is everybody getting the sunroof? I find a lot of mixed reviews with the sunroofs. If people want them, people don't want them. I mean, I didn't get to order my truck, but I also kind of don't want the issues that I have dealt with the sunroofs. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a pain in the butt, to facilitate that repair, especially on a brand new vehicle. So you guys can actually check that out. I think I titled it Vista sunroof problem or something, and I show you how I do the Vista sunroofs, and it's not a it's not an easy job. I mean, it gets more easier the more you do them, but it's, you know, it's just a lot of tedious plastic interior trim piece type work. And, you know, if you got the gray headliner, then you know, you're worried about your handprints, and, you know, heaven forbid you get one with the suede headliner. It's, you know, it can be a real, you know, a pain in the butt kind of job if you're a dirty dude and you're not, you know, watching how you're taking care of the interior and whatnot. So it can be it can be kind of a pain. Hugh, what's up, my man? I ordered my 21 without the sunroof. I gotcha. I gotcha. Chad, he says he's got the moonroof. All right, who we got? We up here. What we got? A a DEF back exhaust, a DPF back exhaust. I would assume you're talking about. Um, a DEF, a DPF back exhaust. I wouldn't think so. However, there is a particulate matter sensor port bung in the pipe. Go out and look at your guys' truck. Look over the extension pipe that goes over our rear axle, and right at the top, boom, you'll see it cocked. Right at, you know, at the probably right at the very top, you'll see it. It looks kind of like an oxygen sensor, and as long as that DPF back extension housing has that sensor bung, I wouldn't, you know, see that having an issue. So haven't really looked at those. I know, I think Banks maybe had one. I don't know. I'm not into the exhausts. Love me a sunroof. Had it in my 27, maybe 17, no problems. Dealer told me to stay away from the sunroof. Got the moonroof. Seen too many issues with it. Yeah, I know. It's over time they will leak. I feel that I'm mixed. If you use the sunroof, you have to keep it cleaned and lubricated. Now, mind you, water, there is a trough up there in the middle. Now, you guys look when you pull your vent shade all the way back. That that plastic carbon piece right in the middle is actually a trough. And what we'll do is it'll take the water from the two seams of the two panels and will allow it to go to the sunroof track. And that's what you have those drains for at all four corners. So you have to be cognitive of where you're parking. If you got leaves and all this stuff, know that that is going to clutter that track, those drains. You can't just roll around and not maintain the track, not keep the rubber on the sides of the glass lubricated. DS Trucks, he has a video where he talked about cleaning the rubber around, getting that perfect seal. Sometimes you guys might have the rubber, you know, make strange noises, or maybe as it's sliding in its panel track per se. So it's important to do that, and that's going to affect obviously the longevity and functionality of that roof, that Vista roof panel. So for the guys that don't use it, you're going to have a problem. For the guys that are using it, use it, but keep it clean. You can actually get, I think DS even talked about it. Or you know what? I have some right here. There is some Motorcraft lubricant. I don't have a video on this, but I suppose it might be good to make a little short film discussing this. But you guys can check this out. This is a Motorcraft product. Okay, Motorcraft, there it is. Mini Vent Window Lube. And the part number for this is XL10. This is a little 4 fluid ounce bottle. And what I wound up doing is I got a little Q-tip, an applicator from the body shop, and was able to clean the rubber with you know, a warm soapy cloth, and then I applied some of this lubricant to that rubber seal to lubricate the rubber, because that's going to be seating up against, the body and whatnot. So, as long as you keep that regiment, same goes for your power running boards. Look in the owner's manual, page 78, something 79. It talks about the power folding running boards and the need to actually keep those lubricated. There's a little cleaning procedure that it tells you to put it on, fully retracted, or not retracted, but fully out, and take it and spray it off at the quarter car wash, or use a power washer or hose to clean those fixtures and keep them lubricated. We got DS joining us right now. TJ5130, what's up, my man? Got black leather interior. Do you know if you can retrofit a 2019 under hood noise insulator liner and light to a 2022?
What up? What up?
What's up, buddy? That's a good question. I don't know, but Cody might be able to.
Can you see me?
No. I remember there being an SSM or something talking about that don't submit a warranty claim for like a misbuilt unit with trucks that did not have the underhood insulation, and it was deleted from production, and not to. I can't remember if it said not to add it, but it was I don't know.
You guys talking about the underhood insulation?
Yeah, it wasn't needed anymore for some reason.
I remember being a little bit weirded out by that, because I used to actually put that in Dearborn, and it was every truck. And then all of a sudden I bought a truck and it wasn't there. I'm like, oh, did they forget it? But then sure enough, in Dearborn, they started skipping them. Even on the 150s, they stopped doing every truck. So
yeah, there was a
good?
message.
What'd you say, Cody?
I said, yeah, there was a message about it, but I don't remember for what model year it stopped.
So what does that insulation do? Is that a fire suppressant or just noise suppressant?
I would assume it's just an NVH deal.
Yeah, because I know it seemed like every car used to have it up until, honestly, when Ford stopped doing it. It's kind of when the first time I kind of seen it get phased out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things that would get nasty after a while on some old cars with different materials. When different materials were used, it was kind of something that fell apart. Not on Fords. I think that material that they use is pretty good for a long time.
This guy's got a good idea. I never thought about that. Eric Church says, weed eater line in the peephole to remove clogged drains for the sunroof. Good idea. That's a really, really good idea. Actually, patching the Ford dealer right there. And one of my subscribers actually works at the United States Post Office right to your right, ladies and gentlemen. We are passing blank, blank. Good luck with that, blank, blank. Just a reprogram. Keenan. He says, I have a 2015 F350-6.7 with 178K. Just did a bunch of front end work. The engine had regular oil changes its entire life. It seems to be running good. Can these trucks run high miles without major issues? Absolutely. If you remember, the million-mile truck was a 2013 with, yes, over 1 million miles. I'm excited to get in production right now of the anniversary video of the 6.7 liter from 2011 to 2021. We're going over all of them. I'm really excited to talk about it because I've been gathering the material for months now, and finally at the end of that to put that out so you guys can check out a little montage of Super Duties over the last 10 years, and it's nothing but 6.7, and it's funny to see how all you guys react to my content. A lot of it does better than the others, and a lot of it doesn't do so good. And I can see that you all really are craving not only 6.7 content, but majority of Alumaduty content. 7.3s, we know we got our big 7.3 fanboys out there. Cody being one of them. You guys have seen a couple of his trucks premiere in my short films, and 7.3 guys, there's not a whole lot of them out there. And then it's just been a real floodgate with the 6.7s, and predominantly them just being the main things rolling on the road. Like you've heard me say before, the world's commerce goes around with the Ford Super Duty, whether it's an ambulance, you see this tow truck, you see this front garbage truck front end, you see this emergency vehicle, whether it's an ambulance or a fire apparatus, it's all Super Duties, and it's it's they're a part of everything. So they're important to everybody's business. DS, we have an owner operator where he's got a two fleet Super Duty crew that he works for his landscaping business. So you can understand, when you have a small mom and pop business to a big time corporation, when you have 2, 3, 500 trucks, maybe a couple of trucks hit at one time aren't too bad, but when you have somebody like DS, that's could be detrimental. So they're very important to all of us, and obviously to you guys as well, being that you're spending good coin on these 22s and 21s that have finally getting delivered to you guys. So we're all spending a lot of money on them, and we want to keep them running and do the best things we can to them, whether it's adding the additives, which we could talk about now, because it's like been the last couple of weeks has been a lot of emails, and somebody heard me talk about my triple threat. This is pretty much what I was talking about. Big shout out to Herv and Tom over at Amsoil for hooking me up with some of their products. I like the oil and their fuel additives as well. I have some of the orange bottle that I keep for the winter. Green bottle I'm using every tank. When I run out of this, or I won't use this next time, I'll use my hot shots. I know DS, he's running that currently, and then the oil. I got about 8 ounces this, a little under half a bottle to my oil, and this stays in here all oil change. So this is kind of what I've been running. Got probably like 3,100, between like 3,000 and 3,500 miles on my oil change right now. Staying full. If you remember, I keep hitting my mic. If you guys remember, DS and I were talking about our trucks burning oil, not burning oil, but the oil level was not staying up. I don't feel that I'm experiencing that anymore whatsoever. I don't think DS is all either.
I'm really torn between these two oils. I've got the AMSoil 0W40 right now, but I'm switching from the Hot Shot Secrets 5W40 PAO oil. And it's one of those things. It's like both oils are great, obviously. I mean, AMSoil is a huge name. But I'm really, diesels for people have gone back and forth on these synthetic oils for a long time. And the truth is, I mean, technically speaking, when you're dealing with a gas engine, it doesn't matter that much if you're just using the blend. I mean, if you're doing the minimum maintenance recommended by the manufacturer with the gas engine, it's probably going to be all right. A 6.2. I've got a 6.2. Yeah, I run full synthetic, but really, I guess in a way, it is a waste if you can just drop it off and get a $40 oil change with the blend, and it's gonna run. It's potentially gonna make it to 200,000 miles, whatever. But with these diesel engines, when you see the cylinder bores, I think Ford Boss posted a picture today of an engine where the cylinder was all smoked. It was all, I don't know, worn out. You see it all the time. These engines, they're under more stress now with these emission systems. So I think diesel engines, particularly the 6.7 Powerstroke, there really is a place for full synthetic oils in these engines, just because of the cost. You know, you want this engine to be able to make it to 400,000 miles or however many hours. I'm doing more hours than miles. I don't need piston ring wear or, you know, the oil. When you see the oil after the oil life monitor is going through its cycle, for me, it's about 4,000 miles based on my driving habits and all the idling that I do. I lose some of the time where I could go to 5,000, but because of all my idling, it's not quite as long. But when you see the condition of that oil when it comes out, it's so much thicker. It's so much has happened. These emission systems are pumping carbon and whatever back into the oil. So your oil is almost part of the emission system at this point. I feel like there's definitely a place to maybe step up above just the basic oil and just get the best stuff that you can get. I think it's worth the investment. But I'm torn between the PAO and the 0W40. I ran the PAO, and toward the end of its life, the Hot Shot Secret PAO, toward the end of its life, that stuff still seemed like it was pretty fresh. You know, normally when you got like the basic oil, toward the end of the oil life, you can hear a little tick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You start to hear a little cold start clicking, and I wasn't getting that with the Hot Shot Secrets. I don't know what's going to happen with this 0W40, but I'm running some tests for sure. I'm sending it out to the labs. I sent over some new samples just to mess around, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to get some better tests, because I think Hot Shot Secrets have like a really high-end test where it's a little bit more money, but they'll actually test more things. But I don't know. What do you think?
I haven't decided where I'm going to send my next oil sample.
Are you thinking about doing a sample?
Yeah, I sent my first one to Apex Labs, and I think it was in my email. I'll have to find it out and maybe show you guys next time, but it was fine. I just didn't know the exact mileage that I had it in the truck. This one I'm way more confident about it. I don't put an oil change sticker in my window. I just change
So one thing I
I
noticed
think it needs to be changed.
in the last time that I did a oil sample is they have something available called particle count, which is something I think might be good. You know, they have the TBN that you can upgrade to, but I want to really upgrade to particle count. And I think one of the things I want to do is I actually saved my Hot Shot Secret oil that came out of the engine. It was used for a full oil life cycle. I'm curious how much more life is left in it, because when I did the first oil change with the 10W30 from the factory, I would assume that's 10W30. I don't know what they put in it from the factory. For all I know, they could put 040. I don't know what's in it from the factory. But I did that first test, and they said there was still life left in the factory oil from Blackstone. They said you still have TBN and you don't have that much fuel in the oil and all this stuff. That being said, I added a quart of oil for what it's worth. That adds TBN and all that stuff back into the oil. Just adding a quart does that. But I'm curious how much more life. This is a really high end oil. This PAO oil. This stuff costs, it's like $160 just for the oil. So significantly more money than just basic oil. So I wonder if there's more life. I'm wondering about the particle counts, because as good as this oil is, it can't do anything for particles. I would think the only thing you can do is have like a bypass filter. So I'm thinking about actually taking the oil that I have, sampling it for the particle count, running it through a bypass filter and seeing if there's any difference in particle count. Would that matter? Would that make a difference? Is that what the bypass filter is going to do? Remove a smaller micron particle and actually have a noticeable, measurable difference?
That's a good test to find out.
I know.
Sounds like we need to put a bypass filter on old DS's truck.
Yeah, I mean,
I know, Mr. Matt Man. Why don't you come on so we can talk about it? Because I have it written down here on my notebook and I haven't got to that part yet. So maybe I'll wait and you can talk about it too.
Yeah, I seen that at like 8:30 this morning. I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
what'd you see?
The new low time in service for Super Duty and Transit.
For the engine?
Engine trans.
Yeah, powertrain.
Wow.
It's good for the customer.
I saw something on Ford Boss where he showed like a cylinder was jacked up. And I said something about the hours. Like he was saying, oh, it only had this many miles, X amount of miles. It wasn't a lot of miles and it needed an engine because of the cylinder. And you could see the dirt in the cylinder. Like I'm like, oh. So I'm wondering how something like that happens. But also too, I mean, the maintenance might not even be there. You know, just miles alone is not a good indication of maintenance a lot of times.
Definitely not, especially something that idles a lot.
Scott, you never know what these guys may be doing with their truck. They could be pulling up somewhere and trying to power a
stone fruit field.
Yeah.
And eat through 3 engines in 1 year.
Yeah. Knock on wood. I mean, I don't want nothing to happen in mine, which I don't think it will.
David Howell coming in clutch for my man Cody here.
Talk to Aaron.
Guys,
He'll
yeah,
coordinate it.
We'll have to get you guys hooked up. Number 4 smoked. What is going on? We're having a lot of 20s coming in with trans failures at very low mileage, like 5K to 15K. Interesting. I can say that I have been experiencing, not all the time, just weird, just the 10-speed being a 10-speed. You know, it's been, it normally skip shifts, but it's been kind of more jerkier than it usually has been. I was thinking about doing like a TCM.
Are you talking about your truck or are you talking about just in general?
No, yeah, my truck.
Oh. I've been okay. It feels like my engine's breaking in though. It feels like it's getting more like power as I'm going along.
I remember you telling me that.
Some people have said that that's normal. You know, I'm at 11,700 miles. So, you know, it just seems, at first when I got this truck, I was like, where I really miss my EcoBoost. I really miss the power and all that. And I was like, this is just not as quick and all that. And I don't know if it is as quick. It's a big truck, but at 11,000 miles, I'm starting to feel like it's got a little more kick to it. Maybe it's all in my head, but
4th geared weird sometimes. Yeah, I would say, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. I find, and Daddy Diesel, he can chime in because I know this month he always be using his exhaust brake all the time. So when I'm using my exhaust brake, I feel it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if I don't have my exhaust, and it seems to be more jerkier when it's going into gears when I'm using my exhaust brake. So if I don't use my exhaust brake, it goes 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But
Really?
there's like a weird instance, just like OKC Jeeper said, 4th gear is weird sometimes. It'll go 1, 3, 4, and then like the 3, 4 is like you get like a weird. I don't want to say it's jerking.
oh, dude, it does do that. I'm looking right at it. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then it goes to 5th. So I don't know if it's just like I need to do a TCM update.
Well,
I think I need to update my sync, but I don't want to wait 3
mine's
hours for
doing
my
it.
sync to update.
Mine's doing it, but I don't notice any problem. Like it was like,
Well, now remember when you had that problem, the check engine light was on, and you said your wrench light was on for that P076F or 67F6 for the incorrect gear ratio number 9, and that was the reprogram we did. Remember, back that was back in the spring.
April.
Remember when we were at the park?
March or
Yeah.
April.
No.
yeah.
Buck Wald Nathan says, can you put an exhaust brake on a 12 F550? Factory, no. I would only assume if you put a different turbo on it, maybe that turbo would have some sort of exhaust brake feature. But no, that started in 13, wasn't it? Was that 13?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was 15 because it was a 15, 16, 17 turbos, wasn't it? Maybe that's what it
Sounds
was.
about right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
It'd
the
be
slam at a
complicated.
stop. OKC Jeeper says absolutely. And the slam at a stop. Now, I don't experience that. I do sometimes if my truck has been sitting for 5-6 hours, let's say, and I go to put it down into drive, I'll get a reassured boom. Yeah, I'm in drive.
Yeah, I was getting that.
But I have noticed a gentleman who came and saw me. Big shout out to Brian. Thank you, sir.
Dang,
His truck.
there's a party up here and everything is blocked. What's going
party.
on? Can you see that? Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
is that?
see it's closed off. That's our meetup spot. Actually, everybody, this is a joke. Everybody, we're here. This is the meetup, Powerstroke meetup. Everybody's coming out.
There's a Bronco down there. It's pretty cool looking Bronco.
Exhaust brake. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go back to the comments. The slam. Oh, that I was talking about. Yeah. Getting into drive. And so my customer, I went to go pull his truck in, and actually I have read a TSB about this, TSB and SSM saying, some Super Duties with a 10R 140 may exhibit putting down into gear and no engagement or something. And it actually says to start the vehicle, let that fluid pump up the fluid, and then you're going to have that line pressure to sustain that reverse and drive. And his actually did that. So I am not have experienced that, and coincidentally, it was quite funny. So this guy reached out to me over the internet, and I've never met him, never talked to him. It just so happens he lives in Michigan, and his truck was built the day before mine, and his must have been built at night, and mine must have been built in the morning of the next day, because there's like 17 trucks between his VIN and my VIN. Like, is that crazy?
That's crazy.
I thought that was pretty cool. Actually was able to make a video on his truck. So in a few weeks, guys, make sure to stay tuned for a mod to an Illuma Duty that if you don't have, you might want to get. It's fairly cheap, easy, and it's factory. So that's.
Oh, I missed the party. It looks like
one.
it's getting wrapped up here.
Make sure to smash that like thumbs up. Daddy Diesel, present your beach here, brother. Hugh, I find going into reverse after sitting all night, it takes a second to start moving, almost like waiting for pressure. It is, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Don't know anything about the Bronco Warthog. Cody, have you heard anything about that?
I've seen some pictures.
Is that like
it's
a
like the
like a trim?
It's like a Raptor version of the Bronco.
Oh, really? I didn't know they were doing that. They're calling that the Warthog? What?
Supposedly. We'll find out.
Wow.
I'm not real interested until they do a manual transmission Sasquatch package.
Wow.
When they do
How
that,
many out
then
there right
I'm on
now?
board.
All you 53 watching, 52 watching right now, after you hit that like button, come to the comment section and tell me, is your family members, your wife, are any of you guys actually getting a Bronco? I'm not talking about the Bronco Sport, the little baby one. Are you guys actually getting a full-size Bronco? Are you going to be getting any of those cool packages? What do we got? Badlands?
I had a
Sasquatch?
friend. I had a
Sasquatch
friend
is
get
it's just a option.
Oh, that's just an option.
It comes on all of them: base, Badlands, Black Diamond. Basically, you can add it to all of them. Gives you 35s and some awesome lift.
We were just talking about that video. Remember the Broncos we saw going through the water? It's like
They're already testing them out.
Oh man.
I got a friend who ordered one, and he said they're not taking A plans or X plans. So I got him an X plan, but they're not taking it. And he said it's going to take like a year and a half to get built. So,
Jeez.
That's kind of rough.
Let me go back up here. This guy asked a question. Where was it? I forgot. Under the hood. The burn stuff. Here we go. Hey man, can you discuss more about the high idle issue I have? I think this gentleman's talking about, I briefly talked to him over email, and he said that when he leaves his truck, not unattended, but not without any inputs, his idle, goes up. And yes, that's true. Mine does that. Specifically, if the engine oil temp, engine coolant temp need to come up, it's going to do that to work the turbo.
So the thing too, though, about that kind of threw me off is it does it when it's hot too. When it's hot outside, it's not just cold outside. Just you would think, oh yeah, it needs to raise the oil temp and all that. Well, what if you're sitting and you've got your AC on blast, and for whatever reason it's got to idle up? Or what if your batteries are low? I noticed if I use that little 400 watt inverter, that factory 400 watt inverter, if I take that thing and I'm running it to its maximum, which is only 400 watts, but you put a laptop on it, you put some things on it, well, all of a sudden your high idle starts kicking in. You're using that big inverter. It's not that big, but you're using an inverter on your battery. The wiring's not that heavy duty on that inverter, so it's probably not efficient. That's taking its toll on your batteries. Well, now your truck starts idling higher. So there's other things that might be making it idle higher that are totally normal just from the nature of using a truck. Now I've got a 3,000 watt inverter in mine, and if I turn on that inverter and charge something up that's small, I'm not going to charge something big with the engine off, but if I charge like my drone or something, which is not very big, and that's going to deplete my battery because the engine's not even running. Well, once I start it up, it's going to high idle to bring that battery back to whatever. If it's sensing that it's lower, you might get a high idle just from that. So I don't know if that might be related or something else could be going on.
Ooh, we got some more party up here. What's going on? 5-0 Patrol, where you at, man? I got you covered. No, bad boys, what you
Maybe
gonna
someone
do?
drove off to the lake. And,
what you gonna do when they come for you? Man, the things is blinding. He's blinded. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that was it. That was...
You guys want me to like pull over?
My 22 will probably take 6 months to get. It's ordered June 11th, waiting on adaptive steering parts.
Ooh, I've heard that quite a bit.
Oh, let's see here. External. Mr. Roden.
I was gonna say,
we're coming in hot.
So we're gonna start talking about this low time in service anytime
Yeah,
soon?
let me fill my water. Can you accept him in if he comes in or not?
I don't know. I don't see anything that allows me to accept.
Don't worry about it. Not a big deal.
I was gonna say, I mean, if the truck's idling a lot, it's gonna kick it up in high idle just to burn out the crap in the exhaust too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've
Yeah,
seen we've seen a lot of that over the winter time.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's see where he's at. We had to go in the house and we had to fill the water bottle up.
We could hear you filling the water bottle up.
I know I was leaning over so you could hear it. Is that guy taking a leak or what?
Those nice
Matty
new,
Meat Man, he's coming up.
that
There he
nice
is.
new headset there, eh?
Hey, I'm mobile.
No cords now. Sounds crystal clear. Woo.
It does sound good.
Hey, crispy.
For the kind of money you paid for it, it better sound good.
They
What
even
kind of
got
headphones
Elsa.
are they? What are they?
They're
Bose or?
Jabra.
Oh, okay.
Jabra Evolve 285s, I think they are, or something like that.
Dang, man, these things are stealing them. A live stream with no snacks. It's like having no ham with no burger.
I've got my stuff.
Trans juice. So, what's this guy? My 22 will come in when my wife lets me throw that much money away on a new one. Probably going to be a 25 by that point. I'm okay with the high idle. It's the white smoke that comes only with the high idle. So, interesting. A couple of things. I would be curious to know what your DPF health is, if it's been going into a regen and been doing that accordingly. What I would probably do is, if you do not have the ability to run a manual regen, I suggest you get Forscan and run a couple of manual regens through that. I'm not talking about going and driving it. This is a static regen. You guys can see that on my channel. I got a couple videos showing that. And reevaluate it after that. You know, we could have a, I don't want to say a buildup, but a higher concentration of unburned, unused DEF, maybe around the SCR catalyst. So that steam, that smoke you might be seeing, maybe that leftover DEF, maybe. All hypothetical at this point, but we need to clean that filter out and reevaluate it. So that would be my recommendation for you at this time. Have you heard anything about the 22 OTAs?
22's getting OTA. I didn't know that.
That's a good possibility. And I am only going to make one assumption as to why the next question is there. And I would assume if it's doing the sync modules, then the answer to the next one, unfortunately, would be yes.
I mean, OTA is going to take control of everything. You're going to
If
get
it can
all your-
access the network, then it's going to update everything in the truck. Towed a load of rocks from the quarry the other day. And yeah, the exhaust brake was on. It was still skipping gears, but I accelerated kind of heavy. You're heavy. My trans has been pretty solid and haven't noticed any issues, but you have a later TCM and PCM calibration than probably most with your build date range. So we definitely took care of that, not having to stock Cal, having the latest and greatest software version from Ford in both the PCM and TCM. Does DEF go bad if it sits in the jug too
Yes.
long? I heard it did, and that is
Yes.
correct.
It looks like we may have OTA. I'm looking in the 2020 workshop manual or 2022 workshop manual.
You know what isn't a good time?
What?
When you order a long block for a truck
Oh, geez, Louise.
and the part number's correct, and you open the crate and you look at it and you're like, dang, dude.
Why is this crate black? Number one.
I'm like, dang, dude. Why doesn't this thing have any valve covers on it? Like, that sucks. And I look at it again and I'm like, hold on, I wonder if this thing's got an oil pan on it. I'm like, it doesn't have an oil pan, but it's got a bed plate. Wait a minute, why does it have a bed plate?
Groovy.
So then you look again and you're like, hold on.
Wait,
Hold
what
on.
the heck?
Why are there holes on the insides of the cylinder heads, and why aren't there exhaust manifold studs right there? And then you realize that Holman put a 6-liter in a 6.7 long block box.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Was it a wood crate?
No, it's a black box.
Oh, those buzzards.
But yes, it
That
looks like
sucks.
it looks like some of the 22s will have OTA. Good times.
That's normally how that goes. Get behind some guy in a Ranger and it's going like 5 miles an hour because it's an old dude white knuckling the wheel.
All right, so I got two comments right off the rip here for DEF 3. Okay, I'm gonna hit them all three. Uper RD says, how long does DEF last, and is there an additive? David Howell, right here, highlighted green. Define too long on ZDEF. Next one, is it okay to store DEF in a refrigerator? Can't say that I've heard that. Right off the rip, how long does DEF last? If DEF is going to be not opened and sealed, I mean, we've had DEF in the back. I mean, parts has it. I mean, it's been sitting there. I mean, a couple months, more than that. I mean, we're constantly going through it, but I guess it all really depends on where you're getting it from, because it could have been sitting there for months. As long as it's sealed, you should be good. As soon as it hits air is when it starts to degrade. So is there an additive? No, stay away from additives if you're putting that in your DEF. That would take care of David's question. DEF in a refrigerator? Have you ever heard of that,
No,
Matt?
why would you
No?
do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
what-
you could if you needed extra space. Sure, it's not gonna hurt it. It's not like it's gonna come out of suspension or anything. You want to do it, go for it.
Yeah, but what if someone goes in the fridge?
Ooh, we got something right here.
Some kid or something doesn't know and starts drinking it.
Well, that's on you.
All right,
Yeah,
you ready
it's
for
on
this? So DEF shelf life in months,
I think it's 3 months if you open
50 degrees at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 36 months, 77, 18 months,
Really?
86, 12, 96, 100, 2.
Wow.
There you go. This is on Motocraft's website.
it. Wait, hold on. You said at 96 degrees, it's 102 months?
No, at 95, it's 6, and 100
Oh,
degrees is 2.
Okay.
So basically, depending on where you're at,
That's kind of rough for the 2 months there. Because where's my
You drank
diesel?
all the milk. Put some DEF on it.
Yeah, I filled mine up when I changed my oil.
Have you seen
And it's-
Notorious?
Still full.
We got no milk.
You've seen the movie Notorious, haven't you?
Yeah.
Mama, them wasn't no mashed potatoes.
Do you guys have a Forscan you like the best? I mean, it's on the computer. Fortunately for Anybody that has IDS and the VCM2 Forscan recognizes that J2738 pass-through device, so we don't have to buy a dongle. But for you guys that are wanting to get Forscan, you will have to get the dongle, and I recommend getting the one that will switch between MS and HS CAN. And if you
Wired.
have wired, if you have a 6.7 diesel, I highly recommend getting Forscan, and you might as well just buy the $50 lifetime subscription. You're done with it. You don't have to put an activation code in, every month or every 3 months when it expires. Just get done with it. You can do data, what we're talking about with the regens. You got to program freaking keys. You personalize your Super Duty to yourself with the chimes, lighting, and what have you in the interior cluster configuration. So it's kind of cool. And for $50, it's something I use often. Not all the time, but often. Like FDRs takes so long to do sometimes, and I need to, familiarize myself more with Forscan. I'll just use Forscan instead. So
I used it almost as much as I used IDS when I was waiting on a computer at work. Switch. That's the one I use. Don't program with it though.
word.
What about OTA? Jeeper. There's two different styles. There's flash while you drive, and then there's flash like when you're not driving.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's just like your cell phone updating. Sometimes it can update without turning it off, and sometimes it has to be turned off to update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean OTA, over the air updates.
Cell phones have been doing it forever. So
yeah, it's getting using Forscan on 22. I was just talking to one of my subscribers. I actually talked to him on the phone. It is working. He was using a beta version, and he says everything is good to go. And there's actually more that you can take care of, Mr. Skidoo. So we will talk on the phone about that, because I need to get a 22 in my hands so I can start messing with them. But he says he was able to turn all the regen stuff on, and there seems like there's more stuff. So that's good. Who is this?
Doozy.
Who?
Big time doozy.
Oh. Very good.
Where did my sound go? Is it? It's on. It's on.
Ford Boss Me, he just texted me. He said that the Drive, if you guys are familiar with the drive.com, actually just did a little stint on his YouTube video that he was discussing about a lot of idle time and no maintenance on a 6.7. I was able to talk with him actually yesterday and today on the phone. If he's listening, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. And he just goes on to talk about all the stuff that was ignored by the customer, and you guys pretty much know the outcome of that one. You guys have seen it.
I gotta
a lot
check
of
that
times.
I just saw the one post where it's just a picture of a cylinder, and I didn't see the actual video that he put out.
Mm-hmm.
I need to look at this.
This was, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago. When his video actually came out, I'm not sure when that was posted, but it's silly, these people not taking care of their vehicle, and the catastrophic failures that come from that, and the ramifications, and people not wanting to pay and complaining. It's kind of silly. You guys spend all this money for these trucks and can't take care of it. But I say 90% of you guys here, talk about doing maintenance and using quality fluids and additives. And for the most part, I think you guys are all on the right track. A lot of the failures that we see, unfortunately, I would say 95% of them, we still get, some grocery getter, if you want to call them, vehicles. But um, that would be cool. A red straw. That I should have opted for that. That would be totally 100. Um, it's something that we usually see with just the cab chassis trucks. For whatever reason, you know, they're not either taking care of it. I think what needs to be implemented is a staying away from changing the oil every 5,000 miles or waiting into the intelligent oil life monitor. I do not agree with the intelligent oil life monitor. These vehicles need to be maintained by the hours. And I think Ford really needs to step up and change and implement something into either the owner's manual, the warranty and policy manual, stating that not just medium duty vehicles more concerned about engine hours. It needs to be 250 through 750. A lot of these trucks are problem trucks, are 450, 550s. They do not require the engine hours for a warranty claim. Well, if we're going to start saving the Blue Oval some money and start nipping these individuals who don't want to take care of their trucks in the butt, this is on you. You did it. It's not Ford's problem that your engine took a dump because you didn't change the oil. That's not their fault. That's not their problem. They designed the engine. I see them constantly running around 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000 miles. You're the problem. And that needs to be changed because we are replacing engines under warranty, unfortunately, because of we have no leg to stand on. The customer provides oil change receipts for oil changes
Only needs
done
one.
per their engine oil life monitor.
Only need
Come
one a year.
on.
which is
That's
weird.
not right. That's
Which is
not
a
right.
weird thing because those guys don't want to be broke down either and need engines even
They
under
don't.
warranty.
They
so.
don't. They don't. They don't.
only
It's
need
really
one a
it's
year,
really
man.
a weird what's really a weird thing is I've not had that experience with the oil life monitor not taking idling and not taking towing and all that stuff into account. So I don't know if cab and chassis have a different algorithm or something, but if I'm idling, my oil life monitor takes all that into account. I could go through my oil life monitor within I mean 1,000 miles. I could drive 1,000 miles of working miles and it's going to eat up a whole entire life monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if some people are not being honest, if they're resetting it, if they're not, I don't know how their oil life monitor is not giving them a decent or at least close enough.
There's actually a PID. Now you can see how many times the oil change life counter has been reset and when the last time it was reset. So people are going to try to,
Thanks,
you
Ford
just
Boss
wait,
Me.
buddy. You just wait. Hey, what's up, bud? What's up? Don't come into the dealer and start lying because you're going to try to have something go try to get something warranty. Oh, I'm just plain stupid. Like, come on, man. Like, that doesn't
Well, it
make
hurts everybody because
that doesn't
then
make sense.
I go into the dealer and they're already on dang defense and they're like already not, you know what I mean? Because there's so many people that are taking advantage of the system. So, I go in there and it's like they're trying to dodge everything, that's how we met. I had a truck that was having a problem and I couldn't get no help with it. So You ended up helping me back when I had that 15 F250.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look at that.
The most haunting sound ever.
The weirdest thing when you back this thing up, it
Yeah.
makes that noise.
Yeah.
So, how about this 336?
Yes. Okay, so 336. So
Super
this isn't.
Duty.
Yeah,
Transit.
Super Duty, Transit. They're not saying anything about medium duty. This is something that is about Ford Techs, not Ford Techs, but Ford Techs would know of. Matt, myself, Cody, Ford Boss Me.
Oh, you're talking
would
about
know.
okay. I was like,
Yep.
what the hell are you talking about?
There is a, I don't want to say a program, but there is, when you have a vehicle that is within 12 months or 12,000 miles, and you have, let's say, an engine problem and it needs to be torn down, or it needs an engine, or there's a rod hanging out the side of the block, vice versa with your transmission. There is no teardown. There's no questions.
You got to at least find the root
You
cause.
have to tear down.
I stand corrected, but you're getting, I guess, a replacement. You're not going to be rebuilding this motor.
So how it works is if you have base engine failure, short block. So if you can determine there's short block damage, it's long block immediately. No questions. You go through the low time of service policy process and get yourself a long block. And it's the same thing for transmissions, but there's a little more. That's a little different, but it's still the same.
But that stipulation was 12.
12.
Now they've extended it to 336. So we have as dealer responsibilities.
Long story short, if your truck is within 3 years old or 36,000 miles and it's ticking, please put your foot to the floor before you bring it to me.
Because Matt wants to pull it locked up with the converter and just make a mess all over the place.
Well, you know what? That sounds good for the customer then, right?
It's a great thing for the customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm all for it.
Especially if
I'm
it's
a customer. You guys are techs. You guys are like
best.
You guys are like, this is horrible.
Like for me, this is awesome. 5 days. Oh,
but I thought the diesels came with a higher level warranty anyway, some kind of 5-year.
They do. This is just a internal thing that doesn't really concern the customer that much, but
right. Yeah, I guess
it's really good if you're a commercial customer, because if we can't get the parts, I think Ford says if you have to wait more than 5 days, you're authorized. Another dealer, if they have it, they have to sell it to you. It's pretty amazing. So like the cylinder heads I can't get for this 350, that dude, this thing so ran away. There's no way it didn't run away.
Copus.
Speaking of Copus,
why do you guys keep saying Hotline? What?
Dude,
I don't know. You better call Copus. That was so funny. Oh, memories.
They superseded that frame with the wrong number. That's why they gave us the wrong frame.
Ooh.
So what a great month this has been. We have the wrong frame for a truck, and they gave me a 6-liter in a 6.7 box. I'm about to do one of these.
Oh boy. You see the PCED is no longer there for the 22s?
They take it down.
It's all in the workshop manual now.
Yep.
They just did that. That was the Econoline. 21 Econoline, I think, is the same way.
Yep. All the new launch vehicles are going into the workshop manual.
Gosh, that's going to take a
Ford
change.
Boss Me. Yep, I just did smart cost cap this morning, and 100% for sure thought they were going to tell me to put a long block in this truck. They said, nope, you're going to do a short block and both heads.
What?
All right, guys.
Well,
That was
smart cost cap factors in a lot more stuff. Like
Oh, yeah.
it checks stock at all the depots and everything. So if they're like, we can't get in, I put in there that it's a fleet vehicle. They're like, okay, we can't get you a long block for the next month, but there's cylinder heads and short blocks sitting all over the country. Piece it together so you can get the truck back to the customer.
all right, guys. Well, I gotta go. It's late night. I gotta get up early.
Holler. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Did any of you guys get the invite for the warranty phone meeting yet? Trying to figure out why tech retention is low.
I can tell you why it's low, but I'm not going there. But they're working on it.
Good luck with
Not
that.
here.
One thing that pissed me off with my local dealer, they diagnosed a bad turbo and had emergency back ordered a turbo. A year later, I go back asking the status. They find a bad gasket.
Get out. Oh man, that sucks.
Wait, the third block for the same truck?
Mm-hmm. I was talking to him on the phone today. It's a 19, and yeah, just what he just said. It's, I don't know if he said number 4 is trashed, and if you go to his community tab and look at the pictures,
That's weird. Number 4 on my 19 is
Yeah,
trashed, and
yeah.
number 4 on a bunch of other ones I've done is
yeah,
trashed.
I was just telling him that, and I was
Ford,
like, told him, take the
are
piston.
you guys gonna tell us what's going on? Because you can tell me that it's fuel related all you want. I know it's not. That's random. That number 4 injector goes bad on every single one.
Then what is it? Is it because the EGR cooler is sitting on top of that side of the engine?
I mean, it's at the back of the engine with the
It's-
EGR
dude.
cooler on top of it with the firewall right beside it. It's
But
kind of
we
I would
didn't
think-
have this problem in 17 or 18. It
What's
doesn't
the
make
coolant
sense.
flow look around there? Do we have like a weird looking
I was looking.
jacket on that side of the head?
I was looking for fun today. That's the last cylinder to get oil.
That is the last cylinder. Would you go through the little oil flow chart?
I'm wondering, it's got to be something to do with crankcase pressure also. So I don't know if something's blowing oil out of like a squirter. I haven't been able to
he
come
said
up
this
with it.
truck's got 19,000 miles on it, bruh. A pickup, and it's on its 3rd block. How's that possible?
Has it gotten a new injector every time?
Ford boss me.
That's just what I'm
Join that
curious
link,
about.
bud. Let's get you in here. Let's talk about that. Also, plugs, no flooding. Here's the kicker.
That's just what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, if that truck has had a new injector and number 4 every time, then what is it? You know what I mean?
I mean, the Shelbys are detuned on cylinder number 8 and 7, I think it is, because they get hotter because of where it is in the engine bay. They get hotter, and when they tune them, they burn up number 7 and 8. Or, sorry,
I had 7 drop a valve.
Dang it! I don't
8
have
and
a
4.
picture of this.
Sorry, I lied.
Cody got a video of it. I didn't even notice it at first, dude. The heads are just trashed. Like, that thing was ready to melt down.
Oh man, that's a bummer. Yeah, that's with 19,000 miles on it. That's oof.
Dude, that big 750 I had only had 1,000 miles on it, and it roasted number 4.
I don't think you're supposed to roll coal, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. Do you have a thingy on it?
Again, you didn't tell me what year it was.
What's the
Have
difference between-
A13, 16,
third
18.
gen?
Just got my 22.
Isn't that technically the 4th gen 6.7?
Not quite.
Well,
Like-
I'm thinking 11 through 14, 15 through 16, 17 through 19, and now current.
According to
they
the coffee
change-
table book, it's still
Right. It's
third gen or second gen.
So we do have, compared to those previous years, we have now, instead of 30,000 PSI, we have 36,000 PSI of high pressure fuel. So we do have a bump in fuel pressure. I mean,
they're
that
still
could be
somehow quieter. I don't understand how.
different turbo for sure between 13, 16, and 18. We have an electronically controlled VGT actuator. The ones before were all hydraulically. No, you're not supposed to roll a bit of coal with your truck totally stock. That would indicate to a repairing technician that you have a crack in your catalyst substrate. So that would be definitely something you'd want to take care of. However, I was just reading. I believe there is a warranty extension for DPFs for a
That there is.
P20EE.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he doesn't have a
No, it's a
2002.
2002.
No, is it 2002?
2002 is the
You're
DPF
thinking
code.
20 E08,
That's what it is.
which gives you the 20 MO6 or MO7 coverage or whatever it is.
The NOx sensor extension. A lot of
Oh,
guys.
that's 21 E01, and then that gives you 20 NO2 or 20 NO3, depending on which sensor it is. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
It looks like Ford Boss Man is going to try to jump in.
Let's see if we can get him on. I have a 14K trailer fully loaded, climbing the hills. Full blow black. I'll see if I get on it another time.
Hours per oil change.
200 max.
Yeah. 200.
200.
Yeah, burn stuff. That's definitely, you got something going on with your DPF for sure, bud. I mean, I would
200
assume
200 hours is 5,000 miles equivalent.
yeah, you got something going on
Jeez,
with
bro.
that DPF. And they've been on,
Where'd my dog?
for whatever reason, a back order. I don't know what the deal is going on.
Well,
They are.
It's all the ones that are getting stolen that have to get replaced.
They are definitely on intergalactic back order.
Number 4, so the HSM, I have the lower over here.
Grab it.
We're
Grab it.
grabbing. We're grabbing. We're grabbing. So this is the lower filter. I saw a couple guys talking about this up the top a little while ago. Very, very well made. Excited to get the unboxing video, so you guys are all going to be the first to see this here on the live stream. But this is the lower cartridge. This is what's replacing the bottom housing cover lid. You guys can see made in the USA. This is where your whiff sensor is going to go. You are going to be using what looks like the factory gasket in here. So I don't want to mess this thing up. We have some nicely made braided lines.
Oh,
Got some AN fittings.
has anyone seen what Fred's saying?
No.
Dude, finally, 3-2 questions. Answer, yes. Have had that happen. Yes. Had to chase my tail because I was told that couldn't happen, even though that's what I wanted to replace for a while. No, you will. If you have a CCV in a Transit, that is bad. It will puke oil out everywhere and you will chase your tail.
Watch my video. I replaced the valve cover on a Transit RV for that particular issue because he was having an oil leak, and well, for whatever reason, the baffle within the valve cover was allowing too much crankcase pressure.
They just get plugged up. It's
Yeah.
the same idea where they get
Yep.
melted. Have you ever seen a intake manifold on a 3.2 just destroy itself?
With all the carbon buildup?
No, like they shred apart sometimes.
No. You guys gotta smell it. It smells just like brand new shoes. I swear.
That'll happen. Well, that'll happen.
And then a kitty cat. Here's your guys' kitty cat. This is the kitty cat number. Here comes Ford Boss Me. He's coming in, everybody. Welcome.
Get that cat filter out of here.
I know he needs to get a Baldwin.
Yeah, we're gonna convert to the Baldwins.
Get the Baldwin out of here.
But it's got a bracket on here in the box with some fastening hardware. But I'm looking forward to getting this on and getting this into production for you guys so you can check it out.
American Truck Nation always says he's gonna
What's up?
visit me, and he
What's
never
up,
does.
Rich? Can you hear us?
Nah, it said he doesn't have his audio turned on.
Oh, really? Let me make sure he's not muted. Nope. Can you hear us? Oh, there he goes. He's connecting.
He is
Connecting audio.
I don't understand. No, bro. On my future 6.7 cat
he's
filters
muted.
are
Let's
going
see.
on.
There we go.
Oh, man, I gotta take a picture of my coworker's license plate, like the vanity
There he
plate
goes.
he has on the front of his truck. Because you know how everyone and their brother puts cat vanity plates on their front bumper.
Yeah.
He has one that's the cat logo, but it says dog. He does it just to make fun of everyone.
Can you hear us now, brother?
I can hear you. What's going on, guys?
What's up, homie? Thanks for joining with us tonight. I know we have had some really weird issues with these 6.7s lately, and I know we got to talk on the phone earlier today, regarding your debacle you got going on with this number 4, and we have been seeing, at least with the fleet side of things in cab chassis trucks, where number 4 has, for whatever the reason, been grenading the cylinder, and it was pretty evident in the pictures that you took today, where you could see that abnormal wear pretty much on both sides of the cylinder wall. And after talking with you, I was like, well, what did I tell you to do? Go and move that piston. And why is there so much play in the cylinder between the piston and the wall?
She got hot. Dude,
It's,
this was the other thing I was thinking. When I looked on one of the intake valves on 4 of this one I just pulled apart, you could see there was oil coming out of it. Like, I don't know if we've got, that still wouldn't make sense to me, because the heads can go, like, why is it 4? Because I'm like, okay, is it consuming oil and it's just getting really hot? There's no way it's a single injector on every single truck. Come on.
I know.
So the history on this truck is it's a transport truck, and they have a fleet of these trucks. And this truck came in at, I want to say, the story I got from the lead diesel tech that was there. The truck came in at like 7,000 miles or 5,000, whatever it was. It was some kind of low miles, and it was already had like a piston slap sound going on. And he said, I tore it down, and the skirt was cracked on the piston, and the wall had the same wear pattern that the one I sent A-Rod today. And he was like, I put a new short block in it. Now it's back at 19,000 miles with 1,500 miles on the new block. So he's went on to a higher paying job, more volume and stuff like that, where he never has to touch parts. He just shows up, the parts are already at the vehicles, and he's happy as a tick on a pig's butt. But he has to deal with no parts department, no nothing at all. And I was talking to him today, and I was like, dude, you've been doing this twice as long as me. I'm seeing the same wear pattern on this brand new. So this is, they replaced it at like, I don't know, we're just going to call it 5,000 miles for right now. I don't quite have the story, but this is on the third block now, and it's the same 4 and 3 or 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. And it's always on the same bank, and it's the same cylinders over and over again. And it's a lot of times it's cylinder 4. And he said, I've been doing so many of these motors where they don't get 10, 15,000 miles on them, and I'm ripping them down to put another short block in them. And it's like, eventually you would either fix the problem or you'd start giving us long blocks, because you have to start look into how many hours labor and stuff goes into this. And he said, every time I do cost cap, it's like short block, short block, short block, short block. And then parts are on back order for 30 to 60 days. And I can't ever get parts for stuff. And I'm having to expedite things and pull a rabbit out of a hat. So that's the story with this. It's going on its third motor, and the wear pattern. So if you were to look at a cylinder, the wear pattern on one side is completely grayed out, and the lines where it's been scoring and rubbing oddly is all up and down with the cylinder. On the opposite side, it still has all the fresh hash marks and stuff, this, and it's got just light grooves in it. It's like wearing more on one side than the other, and it's a completely different wear pattern than any other cylinder on cylinder 4.
I'm wondering, I don't know if the oil squirters on those are getting plugged up, or like one side of the piston isn't letting oil come out. Why is it? I don't understand why it's cylinder 4.
I don't know.
Did yours look like it ran away at all?
Mine, it didn't. No, I mean, it didn't look like that. I mean, it just looks like. And then, like I was talking to A-Rod earlier, I grabbed the top of the piston. I put my fingers down in the top of the dome of the piston. I moved cylinder 4, and you can feel it tapping against the cylinder wall, like excessively. And then I went to cylinder 3 that didn't have the abnormal wear. And I'm sure it was probably not far behind it before it would have started acting up, because I could actually take the piston and go tap, 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 tap back and forth inside the cylinder. And I was like,
I mean,
oh my
God. They're gonna move around a little bit, but
it was excessive though.
This one did it. 4 had it kissed an intake valve. I don't remember if it was 4 or 3 had a bunch of debris. You could see that smashed into the piston, and you could see there was a bunch of detonation pitting in it. Then I went on the opposite side. I think it was on 6 or 7, was just, you could see it kissed valves and just tons of detonation all over it. So there's something going on that we're not getting told.
Yeah, I don't, I think it's all speculation right now. Remember there was a change between, what was it, was 16 or 17, the cutoff, when they changed the wrist pin size. It was like 34 millimeter to 36 millimeter or something. I don't know if some of these didn't get that upgrade, and these are, I don't know.
It'd be long.
It doesn't make sense.
Long past by now.
Yeah. I mean, you have guys that, okay, let's say they went to a larger wrist pin, and they did that because they bumped the power rating up. That shouldn't matter, because you have guys with tune trucks running stock bottoms ends that we don't see them blowing up. So
some of them old ones can still be. I know the thought process and the theory is, I haven't always been a diesel guy, and I haven't always been with Ford. I worked for International before this. I worked for fleet equipment, like I worked at co-ops and stuff, working on Volvos and Internationals and Max. So I've been a little bit all over the industry in my time of being in, not just with Ford. And even in other places that I've worked for, I've dealt with this. In 2016, I had a Ford, just for conversation purposes, I had a Ford 500 come in, and the alternator went out. And I'm back and forth with Ford. 5 alternators later, none of the Ford alternators are fixing the problem. And none of the fixes, with rewiring the pigtails and updating it to a Denso alternator, nothing was working. And I was asking the engineer, I said, what do you think could be the issue here? And he said, honestly, we don't have complete accountability of all the alternators that had the bad voltage regulators, even from back in 2007. Some of those are still around out there.
Wow.
So I said,
Wow.
I'm done playing the game. I'm not going to do this back and forth stuff anymore. The customer's livid. We're probably going to get bad reviews for this at the dealership level. I'm going to go down the street here to AutoZone and get a gold alternator. I'm sorry, that's all we have locally because I was way out in the country. And I'm going to get this guy back on the road and see if it works for him. So I got the lifetime gold alternator, whatever it was. I put everything back to factory, stuck it in there, and the vehicle ran great. The charge light turned off, and Ford was like, you know what? We honestly screwed up here, and we're going to pay you for all your time and that alternator that's not a
No kidding. Really?
There's these parts that, that we would think would be phased out and moved on and, updated and stuff. I don't think they quite have a lot of accountability on exactly where these are at and what's still out there. A lot of times I'm still seeing older models show up when ordering newer stuff.
That's a good point, because that unfortunately could be what's happening to us now. Is these trucks could have, yeah, it's got a 6.7 in it, but the guts, the main short block, I mean, we don't really have a way to tell, but could it have been engines that they had stockpiled and then just
Dude, that's what I'm like.
brought out?
Are these engines that didn't pass quality control? They needed something to do with them because they were about to push. They were already making the new 6.7s, right?
This is just speculation, but it's you ask yourself,
I don't know. It's just like,
why is Ford Boss Me seeing this? Matt's seeing this. I'm seeing it.
I'll tell you something that's not. And Ford watches my channel exclusively. I've talked to an engineer this morning, and he said, I didn't even know that you messaged me on the hotline channel. And another engineer said, hey, you better get back to this guy because, he's got a YouTube channel. And I was like, I'm not that bad of a guy, man. Come on. I'm pretty normal like everybody else. But he was like, this guy's got a YouTube channel and he sent you a message a couple days ago and you haven't got back to him. And this engineer's like, dude, I didn't even know you messaged me. I really apologize. I'm like, well, I don't need the special treatment, man. Just treat me like a normal person just because I have a YouTube channel. And then I get to talking to him about stuff. And I was like, you know what? On the realm of quality control, I just had a short block that was sent to the dealership with a quality control stamp on the side of the block, fresh out of the packaging. And I looked down at the top of the block and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Why does this thing look like it's been dropped off a table? There's grinder marks all over on the top of the deck. There's grinder marks all over the corner of it and stuff where they tried to fix something. And I'm like, I'm not putting a cylinder head on this block. Why are we sending parts out there like this with a quality control stamp? And it looks like somebody's literally taken a grinder and just dropped it on the surface of it and then just buffed it out and said, go ahead and send it to the Ford dealership. They'll put a cylinder head on it. I mean,
I've seen a lot of that.
Real.
I've seen a lot of that with the 1.5s.
The
that's
best
what
thing
it was. It was a 1.5.
I had ever seen. It was in the Michigan Coal Rollers Facebook group. And this guy he literally we looked at serial numbers. Mine came off the line just before his did. They literally plucked these things off the line and sent them to us. And he goes, I can't figure this out. The exhaust manifold doesn't fit. And I'm like, okay, well, what year truck is it going in? He's like, oh, it's a 14. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm actually working on another one of your guys' trucks. It's for a power company. Because it needed an engine and they didn't have enough techs or time. So I'm like, can you send me a picture of the down in the valley and I'll try to help you out here. And I'm looking at it. These dinglings put a 2020 head on the wrong engine. This is when they were still pumping out 17 to 19 engines, but they had just started 2020 engines. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's not right. So Ford gave him an option. We'll send you a new long block or we'll send you a new cylinder head. And the guy looks at me. He's like, well, what should I do? And I'm like, long block? Dude, you want to be held liable for that? Who knows what else they screwed up? I wouldn't do it. See ya. I don't know. Quality control is an interesting thing because, like, I'd challenge anyone that has a truck either at the beginning of a run. So, like, we'll compare Aaron's 2020 to like a 2023, and there'll be problems that are known, and then you'll see a paint mark. That's the first quality control person, but there's still a problem. So they need a paint mark to make sure the other paint mark got put on there. If you guys don't believe me, look at a 17 Super Duty with a Powerstroke in it compared to a 19 and look at the degas hose. You will see like 3 or 4 paint marks on the 19s compared to a 17 that has no paint marks on it to make sure that those little crimps are crimped down tight enough so that it doesn't just blow the hose right off, which they still do. So every time someone brings me their truck and I see it, put it on, grab my side cutter, squeeze it down, squeeze it down.
You know what somebody's going to say? I don't want to say it because we'll get hit, but they're going to blame it on this epidemic, this pandemic. And I'm frankly getting tired of hearing about that.
That wasn't going on in 2016 when they were putting these things together.
Oh, well, they'll still blame it on that.
That's what I've got several times as a reason why you have to understand, and you know, to an extent, I'll give them the benefit.
Absolutely.
But you would think after it happening so many times, eventually somebody would say, look, even if we have to slow down and reset, we can still do better than what we're doing, and we're just not doing it.
2020 Explorers, when those things first came out, what a disaster.
Oh, wow.
And
that was upsetting.
That's when the UAW was renegotiating contracts too. And we're looking at this stuff and then we're seeing them on strike. And it's like, what?
You want stories upon stories upon stories upon stories of engineers coming out and sitting with me on these vehicles. It is unreal. Some of the stuff I have run into with this. A lot of people, that's how a lot of people first initially found out about me, was not only was a couple viral videos I had, or one specific viral video, it was whenever I started talking about the 2020 Explorers and how, why can I not find a pinpoint test for the utility vehicles? But there's plenty of them out there for passenger cars, but you're literally pumping these utility vehicles out to all these police departments. And when they break, you don't even have pinpoint tests that are up to par for the technicians that actually do their job. And I'm like, how come I'm trying to diagnose an electronic parking brake switch and it's an 8-pin unit, but you're giving me a schematic for a 12-pin unit? Oh, that's because we don't have schematics out for the 8-pin setup yet. Well, then how do you expect me to do my job and diagnose this stuff correctly? And then I'm having to create my own pinpoint tests as I learn the circuits and rip the harnesses out of these things. And I'm telling them up front, like, I think based on what I'm seeing, the reason this electronic parking brake fault is setting, based on my experience, my expertise in the field, I think that I need to just go ahead and put the $20 switch in it, save you guys a ton of money in labor, or I'm going to eat up all your time and you're going to pay me through the roof. What do you want to do? Well, we want you to do this. We want you to do this. We want you to do this. So you don't want me to put the $20 switch in it. Eventually, 30 hours into it, an engineer coming out, nobody can figure out the problem. I went into the parts department and said, give me the $20 switch now. I don't even care anymore. I don't want to hear it.
I'll pay for the $20 switch. Just give it to me.
I will pay for it because I'm already 30 hours of labor getting paid. Trust me, I'm more than willing to pay for the switch. I put the switch in the vehicle and the code goes away. And I said, if you guys would just listen to us sometimes, we do know what we're talking about, but you don't listen to us. And with as many times as I've been through these vehicles over and over again, these 2020 Explorers, the utilities, not the customer cars, I don't have a lot of problems with them. It's like the cop cars mainly for me. They're a nightmare. They are a complete disaster. And I have so much to say about them that they probably will never listen to me on. So it is what it is.
Yeah. You'd think they'd listen.
And they don't. I brought it up several times.
I would think every time our Ford rep has been in, and I've been like, hey, are you guys going to make the steering wheel straight on the cabin chassis and medium duty trucks? That's an issue. Yeah. They put out a TSB, I don't know, months later saying, if it comes in from a bodybuilder and the steering wheel isn't straight, it's not their problem. It's the bodybuilder's problem. They have to pay. Okay, Ford, riddle me this. Why do they come off the trailer with the steering wheel 45 degrees off? Why? I prepped 5 medium duty trucks today. Not one had a straight steering wheel. They were all like this.
It's sad.
Nothing on the back. Nothing on the back. It's lazy.
You know, I think a lot of it somewhat boils down to accountability. You know, there's nobody being held accountable for the mess ups.
That
If
should be something that's taken care of at the
if
factory too. I mean,
is if us four technicians right here, we do not cross our T's or dot our I's, or we don't use a right op, or something gets, we get back flagged and we get charged back. We get held accountable for our actions. And when we have people, whether it's in our parts department, at Ford Motor Company, the line, people within the UAW, I mean, I know we're all here for one common goal, and it's to provide, you know, food for our families and to sustain our well-being. But I think a lot of us have forgotten that we're here to do a job and that we need to take pride in that job. It may be that you're a garbage man, but hey, look, buddy, you picked that job. If you don't want that job, go find another job or do your job and at least care about it. And that boils down to accountability, because if other people, if you are going to take pride into your work and your job, there's not going to be an issue with accountability, because you're going to, it's going to be nipped in the butt because this what you do. You're not going to be letting that trash go out the door, or take a let shipment go of 5 trucks to the Ford dealer and steering wheels are like this.
I shouldn't have to plug in, you know, Christmas tree clips on harnesses in engine bays. Ford, come on. How are you guys missing this stuff? It's kind of sad.
We are the bottom of the barrel. The bottom. We're at ground level. I highly, highly, highly recommend that Ford Motor Company, the dudes at the top,
Just
I
call
would
me.
love to talk with a member of the Ford family. Would really love to. I think it would be an awesome opportunity, just to be real, to talk blue oval with you. I think you guys at the top need to come down to the bottom and talk with maybe some of your local technicians who are in this industry. Not every dealer, not a bunch of people, a group of Ford people. I'm just saying you need to pick certain dealers and maybe a few techs from those dealers and sit down either with those individuals separate or in a big group. And remember, like the old technician a roundtable meeting that was, you know, a long while ago. Maybe we need to start that up again and communicate. The biggest part of not communicating, of having no communication, is not communicating. Like, we need to open up those lines, and we're making you guys the money. Don't you think you guys want to talk to the people that are making you guys the money? Like,
Nah, they just
you know
want
what I
to cut
mean?
warranty costs at any avenue that is present.
Starts with us, man.
When you know, the epitome of all of this is well, my experience with corporate has been fairly subpar. They send a lot of guys out that seem like they just got out of high school and they've had no engineering training. Sometimes you talk to them about shorts to ground or short to power or loading up a circuit, voltage check, or whatever, the, you know, just load checking something, whatever. And they're like, huh? What are you talking about? And it seems like deer in the headlights a lot of times. The first guy that was ever sent out to me, he seemed like he had been fresh out of college, milk behind the ears still, never had any wrenching experience at all, didn't know half the stuff I was talking about. And I'm the one that ended up finding the problem. Every single time I've worked with an engineer, other than one time, and that was working back in the day at International, I've been the one to find the problem. It's never been an engineer that has actually helped me work through the problem. And this recent time on this 2020 Explorer with the flooding on startup, I had to replace all direct injectors, all port injectors, all plugs. And that was the final fix because there was no key indication of what was going on. So the engineer said, just replace all the injectors and put all new plugs in it, and let's see if it still happens. Well, it fixed the problem because I replaced every single fuel component at the top of the motor. They didn't know what cylinder it was, how to look at it. And then I'm talking to them about the entire situation. And to get to that point, it took months. And this is where the meat and potatoes of the story comes in. I sent off the message to talk to somebody. They were giving me some guidance, and then all of a sudden somebody pops up as an engineer in the chat and says, you know what, don't do anything else. Stop what you're doing. Don't put any work into the vehicle. There's an update coming out for flooding on startup or, misfiring on startup. Wait, it'll be out in the middle of next month. Are you kidding me? The middle of next month is 6 weeks from now, and I have to keep the vehicle and not let this vehicle leave the lot. It's going to be in a non-runnable state for 6 weeks before you put out an update. How does that seem like a logical reason for me to give the customer why they're not going to have their vehicle for 6 weeks? I mean, this is a month and a half away, and this was the beginning of the month that I was at. So the middle of the month comes, hey guys, still waiting for the update. Is there a new update for the 2020 Explorer? Oh no, wait, there's no update that's been put out. Continue waiting, continue monitoring message board or whatever. Okay, I'm monitoring. 2 months later, what's going on? Nothing's going on. 3 months later, nothing's going on. What the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an escalated engineer pops up and says, dude, this whole time that you've been waiting, there was never going to be an update anyway. Somebody gave you bad information, and this vehicle has literally been sitting on your lot for 3 months without you working on it, and the problem could have been fixed a long time ago. There's no accountability here. There is no accountability here.
That's sad, man.
I don't want people to think it's just Ford either. It's everyone. It's everyone.
I hear from the Toyota guys, the Chevy guys next door to the dealership. I hear from the Nissan guys. I have a Nissan right now at my own personal place that I do my hobby work. It's a NV 3500 with 35,000 miles on it. Nissan turned the customer away, even though they gave him all the receipts for all the work, the oil changes and stuff that's been done. The motor is completely sludged up from bottom to top. And they said, we won't do anything for you. We're not going to repair it. We're not going to replace it. It's all on you. You figure it out. And he's like, are you kidding me? I just spent all this money on this fully loaded family 3,500 heavy duty van to travel the country with my family. And I've always kept up on the maintenance, and they turn them away. Engineering department wants nothing to do with it. Corporate wants nothing to do with it. And now it's at my place because he's a buddy of mine, and they want me to put the motor in it because Nissan won't do it for him.
Huh.
It's going on all over the place.
That's too bad. It's sad that is what's happening. We have absolutely no control over that. Us four guys here, this is something we have to deal with on a daily. I mean, on a daily, it's something we have to adapt to the situation, and it's getting real hard to bear sometimes. And it really sucks because all of us, we really genuinely care about what we're doing, how the customer, that is our main focus, is the customer's visit, their expectations, were they met, were they exceeded, are they coming back? And it's hard to juggle that with parts and with quality issues. And it's like, man, we just need to all have a huge giant meeting so that we're all on the same page. But that's just a thought. But we will continue this conversation once again every Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. I want to thank Ford Boss Me for coming on. It was great to have you. If you guys go check his channel out, he's uploading all the time, running the same lane. We're Ford techs, trying to make a difference out in the blue oval world. Make sure to stop by the channel here Tuesdays and Fridays, accompanied with that Hump Day live stream. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like, hit the comment section, and tell us what you thought. Thanks so much, you guys. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
We're still
Oh.
live.
Oh.
We're still